Hi everyone. Right, view, Lash Social.
Hello?
Can you see me?
Yay!
Yes, it worked. Oh my gosh. Right,
I
bear with
wonder
me.
why.
I'm just going to put a post on the Lash social page so everyone knows where to find us.
Hi everyone.
What is this Instagram by Jade Jones?
Yeah, bye Jade Jones. Hi ladies. Hope everyone's good. Sorry for the technical issues my end. But patience is a virtue and all that.
Right, let me just putting this up now. By Jade Jones. Right, it's up.
Hey,
You look very glamorous compared to me.
it's the lipstick and the ring light.
Maybe I should have put some lipstick on.
It's all you need in life, a bit of lippy.
I know. Right, so before we get started tonight, again, I'm at the bottom. It's really strange being at the bottom. So Jade, maybe if you keep an eye on the questions as well, I think I can still see it. Safi's saying she's got no sound. Can everyone hear us?
Let's see.
Can you just give us a thumbs up or a
I
heart
can hear it.
if you can hear
Yeah,
us?
Samantha Jane can hear.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
keep an eye on questions.
Okay, perfect. Fabulous. So seeing as we're on your Instagram, Jade, it seems silly for me to ask you to introduce yourself. But before we start, I just want to say that I am lone parenting again this evening. The husband's gone back to work, so if we need to take a little bit of a break, if the little ones wake up, then we may have to come off for a minute and then come back on. So I hope that's okay with everyone. So Jade, just in case some of our Lash Social followers have come over that maybe don't follow you or don't know who you are, if you can just do a little bit of a brief introduction on yourself for us all.
Yeah, my name's Jade, obviously. I specialise in eyelash extensions. I've been doing lashes for 6 years now. I'm based in South Buckinghamshire. Just moved from Berkshire, and I am a lover of Premade fans after launching my own range last year.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been a lash artist for?
I trained in 2014
Mm-hmm.
and went full time end of 2015, so 5 years.
5 years. And what was working life like for you before 2014? What did you do?
So before I joined the world of lashes, I was a financial advisor.
Wow,
Straight
okay.
worked in finance. So I worked in finance for 10 years. I left school early. So I went to college and left at 16, moved out of home because my family moved away to Devon and I didn't want to go. So I stayed in Surrey on
Wow.
my own. I got a job
Yeah.
initially in property, rented a house. Then I went into finance, ended up living, working in London, did that for 10 years, ended up as head of compliance for a firm, really getting into the nitty gritty, which is why I work the way I work now.
Mm-hmm.
And left because I was talking to Adam about this earlier, actually. I saw he joined earlier. I worked in a male dominant industry, which is
Yeah.
fine, but they were very young, very egotistical, and I couldn't do my job because I had no respect. I had to head up the firm and I just couldn't do it. So I left with no job to go to.
Oh, wow, that's a big step.
Yeah, I'd trained in eyelashes a few months previous
Mm-hmm.
and managed to basically have a fully booked first month whilst looking for a finance job. Earned really well in month one and thought, I'm not going back to finance.
No.
And yeah, I was pretty much fully booked from day one. A few clever marketing tricks that I used, but yeah, I've never looked back. As probably most of you will know that are watching, I am just obsessed with this industry through and through.
No, definitely. Before we get further into you and your brand, Jade, just tell us how you're coping personally and business-wise with COVID-19 and lockdown.
It's ups and downs. A lot of the time, I'm a pretty positive person, and I focus any of my negative energy into work. So at the forefront of my mind at all times is work, and everything else is kind of pushed back. So I don't tend to look kind of into that side of my brain very often. And recently, you know, talking about it a bit more, it has come out. So I have had days where I've cried and I felt really sad, but obviously speaking to everyone has made me feel better. Oh, Frankie, where's the lashes gone? I was testing them. I removed them to check for damage. But yeah, so today I'm feeling good. I went for a really good run, although I fell over. I've cut my arms, cut my legs, cut my hands. No, it wasn't raining. I just slipped on the mud. But I really couldn't be bothered to go for a run. I was speaking to some of the girls and I spoke to Vicky and she was like, just take it easy, go slow. And I fell over on my first kilometre and I was like, no, I'm not stopping. I psyched myself up. So I carried on, but yeah, I'm feeling a little bit tender. But yeah, generally I'm pretty good. I'm busy, I'm staying focused, and that's kind of getting me through.
Okay. So moving on to you and your business, Jade. PreJades, talk to us. What made you take that step from being just a lash technician doing lashes to your love for Premades? Maybe let's start with that, because I bet that came first before the brand.
Yes, so Premades, I trained with the Eyelash Emporium in 2014, and back then training wasn't as advanced as it is now. I didn't have a model for a practical, so I kind of left and didn't really know what I was doing. I was okay at application. I wasn't the best, and I found Premade fans pretty quickly. I just stumbled across them, bought them in. I used to use Noir Premade fans and started using them very quickly. If I'm honest, I didn't know what I was doing, but I applied them. My clients' lashes lasted. They were happy. I was happy. And I did that until 2017, when I went and trained with Bryony in Russian Volume. I know that everyone was always against Premade fans, and I kind of just never really pushed myself for that fact. I wasn't embarrassed because I was proud of my work and my business, but you know, it wasn't really anything to shout about. And I trained to be in Russian Volume, and then really wanted to focus on the Russian Volume. Went and trained with Maven, Trina, and did the weekend training course with her, and she is very much so about, you know, branding, focusing on what you're good at.
Her branding's amazing, isn't it?
She's just an incredible artist in every respect, you know, business, branding, technical ability. And I took massive inspiration from her and thought, I want to be like that. I want to focus on one thing. I want to give my clients the best I can. So by this point, I had Alana working with me, who still works with me. So there was her and I in the salon, both using Premade fans, both had a full client base. And I came back from the training and I decided to scrap Premade fans altogether. I switched all of my clients to Russian Volume, and I said to everyone, right, I'm increasing your timings to an hour, because I was doing like 40 minutes before. Instead of 25, I'm going to charge you 40, but they're going to look better, they're going to last longer, they're going to be fuller, because I was restricted to 3D with Noir. I didn't like anything bigger. So I gave it 2 months, reviewed it, and 99% of the people said, I cannot tell the difference. The only difference they noticed was the fact that they were a little bit fuller, but they said that they lasted the same, they didn't look too dissimilar, and they were with me longer and paying me more. And a lot of people asked me for the Premade fans back. And by this time, I'd started training for Lay. I'd kind of pushed myself out there in the industry a little bit. Wanted to obviously make Bryony really proud with the Russian Volume. So thinking about potentially bringing pre-made fans back into an industry that was kind of against them when I was just starting to make a name for myself was really scary.
Yeah.
I thought, if I'm going to do this, I need to find a new product. And obviously training in Russian volume, I did check with Bryony that she was happy for me to do it. And she was like, you know, you've got to go for it. So I spent probably 6 months trialing fans. I've still got hundreds and hundreds of boxes in my salon, hundreds and hundreds of them, until I found some that I liked. And actually, I use 3 suppliers now. 2 of them are the first suppliers I ever found, and I still use them.
That's really good. And it's lovely that you had the support from Bryony, because I do remember in the beginning she backed you, didn't she? She backed you quite a lot when you did launch the PreJades. I remember her.
Yeah, or you know, from the beginning, I trained with Bryony in November 2017, and at this point, like, my application was good, but I'd always rushed my clients, and she took me on as a trainer in the January, and I trained with, I joined with Sarah Gwen, Lou McCall, Alana, then there was me and Bryony who started, and they were all, you know, they'd already trained in Russian volume, they were all really good, and in my head, I was the shit one. And I was like, I'm not good enough. People are going to be judging Bryony for taking me on when she's just trained me. So I pushed myself so hard. I practiced making fans for hours and hours every night until they were perfect. I really, really worked hard because I wanted her to be proud and I wanted to be as good as everyone else. So yeah, I'm really lucky. I always had the support of Bryony and Lay. And through that, obviously, I managed to meet lots of other lash artists. And I think with the support of everyone else, it made launching PreJades much easier because I had some lovely reviews ready for when I launched.
Okay, so before we delve deeper into PreJades themselves, let's talk about your setup. So you say in salon you had, is it Alana working with you?
There's 4 of us now.
Yeah, so what is your setup now? So you said at first it was yourself and Alana, so you've grown your staff.
Yeah, so it's just me and then Alana.
Self-employed or?
Yep, they're self-employed. Alana started with me, well, she's been with me for 2.5 years, so like 2017, I think. So she was my first, and then I had another girl who doesn't work with me anymore, but I've taken on another 2. So we all work in the salon in the back of my garden. So
you're still working as an active lash artist as well?
Yeah, not as much. I don't do as many lashes just because you can't like run the business and lash all day every day. So when I had Indy, I gave obviously all of my clients to the girls during my maternity, and then decided that I was only going to do full sets. So I didn't take on any of my regulars. When one of my girls left me in December, I decided to take on a few of my regulars rather than lose them. So I have got 4 or 5 regulars now, but that's it. And I will do full sets here and there because full sets is what I love doing.
So when I was talking last night to Terry from Hello Gorgeous, and she said that she found it difficult to make that transition from coming away from the salon into focusing on the brand. And it sounds almost as if you're growing the business a lot, and you're probably are you in the process of that? Are you planning to sort of come away more? Are you making that transition, or are you thinking you're going to keep doing clients for a while? Where are you thinking on that?
The business is growing, fortunately, really, really quickly. And since lockdown, around obviously being with my children, I have worked a hell of a lot of hours, and I love it. I literally love it. I don't really want to go back in the salon as much as I was. It's just obviously right now I'm putting in all the hours and not really earning anything. So it'd be nice when we come back. Hopefully, you know, that will pay off, and I will earn through the girls. You know, there's a team of 5 trainers now, so I'll, you know, make some money that way. So hopefully I can be in the background running it, managing everyone else, you know, supporting, training them, and then they will be seeing the clients, and hopefully, you know, they'll see more students than I will. I do want to actively lash, but it won't be as much, and I want to train because I love the training, but it's really hard keeping up with lots and lots of students, because you want to give them the support that they need and answer all of their case studies as quick as you want to. But the more students you have, I found it really difficult to keep up with that.
Yeah, and having the extra trainers as well will help you with that, won't it? Because they can obviously help with the case study reviews as well. So we've got so much to talk about, Jade. My brain is literally filled with questions. So let's get on to Premade fans themselves. Let's talk about what you wanted to find with your lashes. You wanted to talk about the pros and the cons and things like that. So let's start with your lashes and what you provide with your lashes in terms of the quality and how they're made, and then give us some pros and cons of Premade versus man-made Russian volume at point of treatment.
So for me, the whole reason I wanted my own brand of Premade fans is because I wanted a pointy base. And there are absolutely fans out there with pointy bases. Lots of people are against glue bonded fans. I'm not against glue bonded. I have heat bonded and glue bonded. Heat bonded are actually made with clear glue and then heated. And it's really hard to explain, but the way that heat bonded fans are made, imagine you've got your little sticky strip.
Yeah.
And then you've got just strips of lashes on the sticky strip, and one side is fanned and the other side is fanned, and it's sealed with clear sensitive glue.
Okay.
And then it's heated and then it's cut. So the glue is cut, so you're just left with the heated bond.
Right.
So pre-made fans, they are all made by hand. They're just not made by hand the way, you know, we would make Russian volume fans. And then obviously glue bonded, they are dipped in glue, but the glue is minimal. It's minimal. You can't even really see it. Some of my fans, you can see a bit of, it looks like clear glue. That's actually my heat bonded fans. And people think it's the glue bonded and it's the glue you can see. It's not. It's actually really difficult to know which is glue and which is heat bonded if you haven't spoken to your suppliers. So many times I've asked them to send me videos of how they're made, but it's all secret and it's their own way, and they don't like to share it with me. So I will go to China, to my factory.
I was going to say, that's your next trip then, isn't it? You're going to have to go and see them made.
100%. I was going to do it in January. I was pregnant with Indy when this was last year, and I was going to go with Alana, Enhanced Education, and she couldn't come, and I almost went on my own, but I was pregnant, and it was like -10 degrees, and I was like, absolutely not.
No.
But my supplier, she's lovely, and she's been willing me to go out there. She sends me presents for my babies. She's the cutest.
Lovely. So you say that you stock heat bonded and glue bonded. What do you find is most popular within your sales? What are you finding you sell more of?
Oh, it doesn't make a difference. No one would know.
They all sell the same.
They all sell the same. I sell short stem, long stem, narrow fans. And you know, I probably couldn't point out which are more popular. It is all down to personal preference.
Yeah.
The long stem are beautiful. They give a really nice eyeliner effect.
Yeah.
The narrow fans for me are my personal preference, but then I like a narrow fan. Short stem are just slightly wider, so the spacing is a little bit bigger, so they give a bit more fluff as opposed to the narrow, which give uniformity. But I couldn't pinpoint which is more popular because they all sell equally.
10Ds for me, or narrows. She loves 10Ds. So you have started, was you one of the first to bring out the massive size trays as well? Because I always remember when they first came out, they were like normal size trays, and people were saying how that it's great, but they don't last very long because you obviously use quite a lot for a set. But now you've got these big sets now and big trays, and I've actually got a tray here, I think, that you've sent us for the competition. What size is this? Is this the big
Yeah, that's a large tray. So the large tray should have 16 lines in them.
Yeah, so it is actually a really good size, and just looking at them, I mean, the bases are so fine, and comparing to what I've seen before, they're so fine, the bases, compared to the thickness of what you would normally see, and the points on them, they're just really good. Honestly, they're so fine. They really do look really lightweight as well.
It makes me so proud.
No,
I'm
it
so
does.
proud of
It does though.
them.
I mean, I haven't actually tried the PreJade, so I had a little rummage in our because I've obviously packed all the gifts for the Lash Social competition. I was like, I'm going to get a tray of these out, but I didn't want to open it out of the packet, so I've been looking at it, and they are the quality and the uniformity of the fans as well, because every fan, the spacing's perfect, the uniformity of them all. I think the quality definitely really is there.
A massive benefit of using pre-made fans over Russian volume, unless you are a magician in Russian volume and you're perfect at creating evenly spaced fans, pre-made fans are always going to look more uniform and more neat if they're being applied properly. 100%.
So Lotus Beauty Hearts has just asked you a question. How many sets do you get from a large tray?
So it depends on what dimension you're using. So I would say if you're using my 3D fans as an example, if you want a light natural set, there's like 900 fans in a large tray for £20.
Yeah.
So you'll easily get 3 sets, assuming, you know, 150 lashes on each eye. That's someone with a really good amount of lashes at 100% coverage. The larger trays, 5D, 6D, 7D, 10D, 12D, I would say generally you're going to get 1 set if you are doing 100% coverage, because they've got 300 to 400 fans in them.
So that's for your 10 and 12D fans?
Anything above a 5D.
Okay. And do they vary in price, the depth fans, or are they all the same price, your trays?
No, they're all the same. They cost me the same price, irrelevant as to whether I'm buying a 12D or a 3D.
So in theory, if someone is buying your above 5D trays, it's going to almost cost them more because they're getting less sets from the tray. So do you recommend people to then charge more per D when they're using Premades?
I guess that would make sense. It depends how you charge. I charge hourly.
Yeah. Which I think a lot of people do nowadays. I don't, but I have done it in the past, but I reverted back to my old ways. But I'm just thinking for cost-effective ways, in theory, it would make sense if you're applying a 5D plus, you should maybe do a price bracket higher because you're not getting as much out of your product.
Yeah, I've seen people do it as well, where they will offer a natural set, a full set, and a mega set.
Yeah, that's what I get.
So the natural set, obviously, they're going to make more cost-wise, so they can afford to maybe charge slightly less. But the best way to do it is to obviously work out what it's costing you and add that on top of your classic set, so you're not losing any money. So in my head, I will very rarely do a 3 to 4D set. I will always add 5Ds, 6Ds, potentially 10Ds. So I just know in my head that a full set is going to cost me £20.
Yeah, okay. And so what is the smallest D you do? Do you do 2Ds or just 3?
Just 3.
And up to 12? Up
to 12. And the 12s are the lashes that I've got in recently that we've been using for the DIY PreJades, and they are just beautiful. The bases are, it's a different supplier, but the bases are actually more pointy than my 10Ds. They're lovely.
And what about lengths? What lengths are you offering with your PreJades?
I've started, I have just put a few in at 15.
Beasts.
Which is brave. When I first bought pre-made fans out, I went from 7 to 12 because that's just what I thought people would want. And I got mainly 4Ds and 5Ds because that's what I made with Russian volume. And people wanted 3Ds, hence me getting in the 3Ds. And lots of people actually, I did trial 14s, 15s. I did have some 16s, but I decided not to sell those. And actually they're quite popular. My 12Ds start in a 10mm and go up to, they've got 1 row of 15s in them. And I start them at a 10 to try and encourage people not to use them on the inners and the outers. I send a guide with every order, just with a lash.
Yeah, there's actually a guide in
here
in the packet.
So in there, there's a little recommended lash map that talks about using a 3D for your inners, going into 4D, into 5D, 10D for your midsections, where your lashes can handle it. If you're using those 10Ds on the inners and the outers, okay, they're 0.05, or my 12Ds are 0.03, they are going to cause a bit of damage. They're too heavy.
Yeah, but in all fairness though, Jade, I mean, I know you talk about the lengths and how you're a bit like standoffish with how long it is, but at the same time, when you're talking about that, lashes are very regional in terms of if you're in Essex, maybe you're going to want the fuller, thicker, longer lashes. The stylists will want that length. And some sets we see from the States as well are quite long. So if you're looking to branch over there as well, I think there's definitely a market for the longer lashes. We've just had a couple of messages. Cat's Eyes said she was looking forward to watching this, totally forgot, she'll catch up tomorrow. If you do miss it, Cat's Eyes, obviously we do repost these. They'll be up for 24 hours on Jade's account now, but also we put them on YouTube, so they'll be on the Lash Social YouTube if you have missed any of our Lash Chat lives. Another question from Lucy's Lashes. Do you have any application tips for the pre-made fans? I've never used them before and haven't trained in Russian volume. So first question, we'll do that one first. Do you have to be volume trained to use PreJades, pre-mades?
So you don't need to be Russian volume trained to use pre-made fans. However, it is really important to take further training because you need to understand the weight breakdown. You can't just apply a pre-made fan like a classic lash because
without knowing the weight conversion.
Yeah, you need to understand the weight conversion. So you don't necessarily have to have a Russian volume qualification, but I would recommend doing a mentor session, finding someone that uses pre-made fans, you love their work. Otherwise, obviously, I do accredited courses.
You offer a PreJades, like a conversion course, don't you? Almost like a accredited course.
Yeah, it's a pre-made fans course. We cover classics, so it's a classic qualification and a pre-made fan qualification, but we predominantly go over pre-made fans. So I do go over the weight breakdown in the first session, and we've just changed our courses actually to 1.5 days, so I can do more theory on day one.
No, that's really good. Lashes with Amy Rose has said the 12Ds look amazing. ... The bases, she loves them. Someone else said the lash mat, PreJades are incredible.
What did Frankie just say? I think Leanne was...
Also, Jade, you are like me. You have a lot of lid and brow space, so we can get away with 15mm lengths.
Well, do you know what? One of the main reasons, one of the girls in my salon, Alana, she doesn't particularly have very long lashes. They're very fair. They're quite fine. And I always do a 14 on her, because she wants them and she never has any damage. Her lashes, you would think they can't hold them, and they can. So they're fine. I guess it's trial and error, and it is dependent on that specific client, but I've used them and they're fine. So I just think if they're used properly, then it's okay.
And in regards to pickup of pre-made fans, do you pick them up like you would a normal lash off a strip? Because I've seen some people roll them off backwards.
It depends. Some of my fans, the glue bonded, they sit on the strip and the base sits up, the strip is on the glue, and then the top is up. So for those, I pick up from the bottom and take them off, just because the 10D, there's quite a lot of lash to get in your tweezer. So I pick those up from the bottom, and with the other fans, I pick them up from just above the sticky strip, and I actually pull them towards me, but I have seen lots of people giving tips where they pull them away from them. So I guess it's just what works. To be honest,
and it depends on what brand that you're using as well, but that's a really good tip. So if your pre-made fans are stuck to the strip where the bases are stuck, pick them up more like you would normally, correct? But yeah, if you were using pre-mades where the bases are lifting off the strip, then sometimes it's better to pull off that way.
Pull off from the bottom, definitely. And you need to do it slowly, and you have to pull them down low. Otherwise, if you pick up from the top, you're going to break some of the individual lashes within the fan.
So Leanne Harbour, I think it's Ultimate HQ. Leanne has she's using Jade's pre-mades for her bridging technique at the moment, so that's really good.
And did some training with Leanne on the bridging technique and took my fans, so we practiced it, and it was actually Leanne that gave me the inspiration for the 1.5 day training, so thanks Leanne.
Samantha Jane, the courses go through lots of styling as well as dimensions, weight, pickup, glue, and so much more. Lotus Beauty, best tweezers for pre-made. So what shape tweezers do you prefer, or can you use any?
L shape, really, because you need to get in. For me, I pick up from the tray rather than a palette. So with an L shape, you can get into the tray and get kind of the fans from the inside and the outside.
Without touching any of the other fans.
Yeah, I've tried with other lashes, and it does work, but I just find the stability in the L shape with pre-made fans 100% works better than any other tweezer I've tried.
Samantha Jane has said, I love the boot one. So
yeah, L shape.
Yeah.
Sam's actually one of my trainers, bless her.
Because there's a flat L shape, isn't there? But then the boot ones are slightly more rounded, aren't they?
So yeah, I literally like the ones that are like down 90-degree angle. Wonder if I've got a pair there. I think I might have a pair. Let me grab it.
What I've got here. Off she goes to find some tweezers. Oh, there it goes. I think she's still there.
It's all right. It's already
Did you top us?
Oh shit! My son's just fallen off the sofa onto the floor. He's asleep.
Oh dear. Do you want us to come back on in a second?
No, it's all right. He'll go straight back to sleep in a second.
Oh dear.
You're welcome.
Oh. He said thank you. That's adorable.
Bad mum. Left him on the sofa.
Oh right. Oh, he just said thank you though. That melted my heart.
I know. Just gave him his bottle half asleep. Thank you. He's only 3.
Oh, adorable.
Right, so I did find the tweezers.
You did find them or you didn't?
I did. And now I've just put them down somewhere. Yeah, I've got them. Here's them.
Oh.
Bad mum.
Not a bad mum at all.
Right, so let me just set this back up on my little ring light. Okay, so, oh yes, I guess they're a bit angled, aren't they?
Yeah, so they're the rounded, they're the same shape that I have.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, they're a bit fuller than my ones, but they're a similar shape. But yeah, so these are more, this is what I would say is more of a boot tweezer, but the L ones, I would say more like the Vitas. Is it SA for SA
I
ones?
see.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, so these are like more of the rounded ones. Bear with me. Everyone's going, oh bless him. Yeah, those ones. Yeah, so in answer to the question, you can use these tweezers, these shape tweezers. Jade has them on her website. Do you have some on your website?
Yeah.
Okay, so where were we? We were talking about Jade sells the tweezers. I have them, they're amazing. Cool. Yeah, Lotus Beauty uses them anyway for volume. So where were we? We were talking about the best tweezers to use.
Fans.
And then the best tweezers to use. So you recommend the boot tweezers because then you can pick up straight off the tray. You don't need to use a palette. And then you can get into the tray nicely without disturbing any of the other fans. Yeah?
Yeah, the only thing with the large trays, because I do use the trays and not a palette, is it's difficult to open them up and have them open next to your client's head on your lash pillow. So what I actually do is break the top off.
Yeah, I was going to say, you almost need a foldable back top, don't you? But you'd take the top off.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get a hold of, actually Brooke, who's in here, mentioned it. With the Noir lashes, they sit flat on the tray and then the plastic cover comes over the top. So you take the top off and it's flat.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and get a hold of those somehow, but my suppliers aren't playing ball.
Oh, well, you've always set yourself a task, can't you? So Premades have obviously taken off in the industry. There's more and more people offering them now. You've got your courses out. So talk to us about your courses, because I believe you've just taken on a new educator as well, haven't you?
2 new educators.
2 new educators. So what can someone expect to get from one of your courses that would help them with the use of PreJades? So
in our pre-made courses, I've actually got one of my manuals here. This is my friend Alana, set of lashes that I did. It is like a Russian volume course without the fanning techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite advanced. We do go over a lot, and I've just found it really hard to fit in all of the theory and the practical into one day within the hours.
It's always hard with all lash training, isn't it? To get it in one day, you're always just fried and rushed at the end.
and just students, I think it's so much to take in their brains to do a 3-hour practical. Like I really want them to do 3 hours on the practical, because although the theory is super important, if they're getting tired after an hour and a half, you know, that is really important as well. So we've decided to take out the 3-hour practical on day one, do more around styling and theory, have a good hour for lunch on the first day where they actually have a break, where students have a break. And then do the practical a few days later. So send them home, give them homework, training aids, strip lashes to practice their isolation and their placement, and get them back 3 or 4 days later to do their 3-hour practical.
So you just mentioned, actually, because that's one thing that I was going to say, because practice with Russian volume technique, you would do like sponge work and fan practice. So sometimes you'll send them home and say, do some sponge work, send them home with a sponge. Obviously with PreJade, you're not going to do that because they're already made up. You haven't got to do the fan practice, but you definitely need to practice your uniformity, your placement, your pickup. So you'd send them home with some strip lashes, or even they could use a mannequin head, I suppose, couldn't they?
Yeah, so what we're going to do, another little tip that I got from Leanne, she uses a kind of training aid where she layers up 3 strips of lashes in between layers of microfoam, all set just a little bit further away, so you can really see the layers. So I think we're going to introduce those into our training days and send them home so they can actually visually see what layers look like, and
you're actually going through then to isolate and not just isolating a single lash. Definitely, that's a good idea. But
probably with that they would use their classics just because it's going to be easier. And then I have recently just invested in just the practice strip lashes, but the individual ones, so they'll also have those in their kits,
like these.
Where they go home and they lash them, and they have to bring both tools back in for their practical, so we can have a look at them, tell them, you know, what they're doing well, what they're doing not so well, and then they go straight into their practical where they bring their model, and that way they can just bring their model with them. There's no hanging around, and then they can leave with their model.
And so with your manual for your courses, do you sell this separately, or do you only get it as part of the course?
Only as part of the course. Yeah, I don't know why I don't sell it, really. I kind of just like, I suppose because Premade fans, I'm just looking at it, hence me looking down there, because it is all new to the industry, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of it, I've spent 4 years working out how it all works. I guess I'm just a little bit protective of it at the moment.
It's like your baby.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's out there more and more. I talk about most of the stuff in my manual, in my workshops. So yeah, it was probably about time. I should probably put it out there. People do ask me. I just love it so much.
You could sell it as like a little pack. You can get like a packet of PreJades, pair of tweezers and a manual, and sell it as like a bundle.
So pretty.
Just maybe keep it in physical copy and not digital download to protect yourself for a little while.
Yeah, it's an option.
So let's go on to something else. One question: do you do the Premades in coloured lashes? Is that some sort of a Safi said, "Don't sell it"? No way, don't sell it.
I know, I can see them all coming through. Emily, we want it.
You can copyright it though. You can still copyright it though. It's no different to selling a book. So
it's copyright.
There are ways to protect it, so you can still protect it. I mean, at the end of the day,
it's protected. It's copyright, and actually, I've had a lot of my stuff trademarked. So
yeah, so you can't. They can't. If anyone plagiarised it or anything, so it's a revenue that you could go down. Not saying you have to. So in regards to coloured Premades, do you offer these? Are they popular?
They've been more popular since I launched the Premade Pro this year because there's a colour category. Coloured Premade fans are really hard to get hold of. I have got pink, red, green, blue, purple. They're long stem. I ordered, I think I bought like 1,000 trays because there was like a minimum order. Maybe it was 2,000 trays. In 7mm to 12mm. They turned up. They were 9mm to 14mm, which is a massive pain. So they're actually in the sale. That it's £8 for a tray, which is a bargain for a tray of Premade. but I haven't managed to really find any others that I'd like. Not without having a minimum order quantity of thousands, and it just
And what about brown?
Brown, I have a very light brown in a short stem. They're actually really beautiful, but again, they were labelled a C and a D, and they're a very weak C. So yeah, the colour is difficult.
I definitely think brown would definitely be a market for it. I'm seeing a lot more brown lashes out there at the moment, and as well with obviously your fairer people, but also for competitions. There's a lot of brown lash competitions, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, obviously Paulina spoke about the brown lashes at the Lash Social event. I've entered brown lashes into a few competitions.
That was at the Always Bonita event.
It was, yes.
I don't want to take anyone's thunder.
Sorry.
No, right.
Yeah, it was Ariane's event.
Yeah.
And every set that I've entered into competitions that I have used brown lashes, I've placed. So, okay. But mine have been the lighter brown. Whereas I know some of the others have used black brown, which they are beautiful, especially if you've got.
Lash Lady Swindon's just said yes to brown lashes.
Hi. Lady Swindon.
So we just touched briefly onto competition. So one of the questions, actually, I put a question box out on our stories. I always do it for these lives to see if anyone has any questions for us. And apart from getting millions of bots telling me that I've won an iPhone, we actually had a question come in today saying about when are you going to do a pre-made competition? Well, you already are doing one, and you're now on to your second pre-made pro. And we are seeing a lot more competitions now offering a pre-made category. Now,
I've been digging my way into all of these competitions and convincing people to do it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Lash Social, I'm not going to do it because I'm leaving that to you, and I'm pushing everyone for pre-mades towards PreJades. So we won't be including it. But let's talk about pre-made competitions. Are the rules still the same, judging wise? Because obviously fan uniformity and things like that, how can you judge that with pre-mades? What are your thoughts on obviously the pre-made competitions, or any tips that you can give people?
So Premade Pro, do you know what? The first year was a massive success. We were really lucky. You know, like you, I'm quite strict on my deadlines, although actually I did bring it forward. I was just so excited to announce the results. I actually brought mine forward a little bit because I had it ready like so much sooner than the launch date.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't hold it in. So it all ran so smoothly. There wasn't one hiccup. I did it all on my own. But I love it. I think because I am so passionate about them. Yeah, so this year we have pushed it back a month. The deadline was originally the 1st of July, but with everything going on, like, you know, we've all had to push it back ever so slightly. So I've pushed it back a month. So the deadline is the 1st of August. With pre-made fans, although my bases are beautiful, bases are always slightly thicker than Russian volume, especially when you're going into your higher dimension. So you do need to be careful with that with pre-made fans. And I would say one of the best tips, because most competitions require that looking up shot for the isolation and the layers and the placement, is to use a small dimension along that whole lower layer. So a 3D or a 4D, just because those bases will look closer to Russian volume, and they're nice and pointy, so they'll look beautiful. And work on your photo angles. With pre-mades as well, where the base is slightly bigger, the glue can look shiny on the closed eye shot. And I understand pre-mades, and I understand that is just a trait with pre-mades, but other judges that are coming in judging pre-made competitions that don't necessarily know will assume that's glue.
Maybe think that they're clumped together or too much adhesive's been used. Yeah, no, that's
and
really
you get marked down.
So what categories have we got within the Premade Pro this year?
So this year we have got natural volume, which is 4D maximum, so 3 to 4D. Full volume, which is, you know, anything above 4D. And I think I've mentioned it a few times, which is a point you made last year when you were judging, a really good point. I can't remember which way round it was, but someone had been marked down in the natural category because they were, even though they only used 3 and 4D, they were so full that they looked mega because the client had so many natural lashes. So although they had done what they were meant to with the 3 to 4D, because they looked like mega, it didn't fit within that natural category. So you need to be really careful with the models you're choosing and the lashes that they have, because I think you made a very valid point and people don't think about that.
So we've got the two categories, the natural volume and then
natural volume, full volume. We also have NYC, so wispy, which obviously is Louise McCall's.
So that's a combination of classic. They're allowed for that, aren't they? I think
they're allowed classic for the spikes. That's the only
hybrid set with the pre-mades and classics.
Yeah, and then we also, oh, you've got some questions.
Yeah, so Amy Beauty, being new to lashes, when would be the best time to enter a competition? Whenever you feel ready, Amy. And what I would suggest is, if you're new to lashes and you've been lashing less than 3 years, start entering competitions now, because you're in the category for beginner, which is really good, and just get some experience out there. If you've not entered any competitions, maybe choose ones that are maybe less known of. Look at your judges and research who's judging them. What else can you give, Jade?
I think it's really good advice to do a competition set as soon as you see one. When you do a competition set, you allow yourself 3-4 hours more time than you will ever allow yourself with a client set. You will absolutely guarantee, I will guarantee that you will produce your best set, and you will set your own standards. You won't even realize that you can produce a set like that. And I always say to my girls, always be better than your last set. And once you know that you can work to that standard and you're getting better every time, then you're always going to be happy with your work.
Also look for a competition that is going to give feedback, because being honest, you can enter your first competition and place and win. It's fully possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but really look at the criteria, look at what you're going to be judged on. Normally in competition work, less is more, so don't go too crazy on your lengths. But really make sure you try and enter a competition that will give feedback, because if you then enter and don't place, you're still going to get something from that competition. You're going to be given feedback as to what each judge thought of your work. And also, like Jade said, you're going to be producing your best work anyway, and it will be good pictures for your social media, worst case scenario. So enter a competition as soon as you feel ready to do so. Bobby Brows, you'll always do your best set in a competition. Invaluable feedback, yes to NYC. Can't wait to enter some competitions. Oh my god, there's so many messages. Yes, do it, push, produce your best work. Lash Lady Swindon, I entered after doing lashes after 4 months. You've got this, learn from your judges' sheets. So yeah, learn from your feedback. What else are we going? The feedback is so helpful, and it will highlight what areas you need to work on. Yeah, typically no longer than an 11. That's Safi. Safi, what position didn't you take a trophy last time at our last event? I'm sure.
Fantasy.
What did she took?
The blue.
Oh, it was
genie.
the genie. Was it the genie? It was the genie, wasn't it? I remember.
I can't remember if it was first or second place, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. She definitely placed. I'm sure she was, because she was at the event.
Yeah, Safi's picked up a few awards, actually, quite a few with Premade fans. Second.
She took second.
And she's been lashing for less than a year, so it shows that you've got to push yourself out there. And actually, Elizabeth Nelson, who was just saying she hasn't been lashing for long, and she's picked up quite a few awards.
Yeah, to give yourself more of a chance as well, enter that has more than just 2 levels, because if you enter a competition that just has beginner and expert, you're going to be up against a lot of people in your category, whereas some competitions have beginner, junior, master, trainer, judge, and they have more levels. If you enter something that's got more levels, then you'll give yourself slightly more of a chance. She says that, and my competition only ever has 2 levels, but
I've got 3 in mine.
Yeah, no, we always do just beginner and expert.
There's also with the categories, a colour category and a fantasy category.
Yeah, no, that's definitely good. And if you're doing a colour category, use clear adhesive.
Clear adhesive with the Premade fans. I mean, it depends what look you're going for. If you want a bit of an ombre, so I went for an ombre look in a competition, and I used black because I wanted the ombre to start from the
base
bottom and up, and then I went from light to dark from the side. So it's kind of both ombre, but generally, yeah, you want to use clear glue. with
Was it the
Premade
ombre that
fans.
you took? Was it the ombre that you took the award from Claudia King, head judge?
That I was trying to do ombre, it didn't really work. The ombre one that I got an award for was Lash for Health and Queens, but the head judge award with Claudia King, that was like my fire inspired set.
And she got to choose that from the whole competition as well. That was
I
such a good
know.
achievement for you.
I love that.
So let's talk about, seeing as we're on the topic of competitions, you gave yourself a task, was it last year?
20 awards.
Yeah, you wanted to get yourself, did you set yourself 20 awards? Or did you set yourself just to get it? Because you entered everything. I just kept seeing your name over and over again. What made you do that?
I entered my first one in December 2018, and I won the awards. I got my awards in January last year, and that was the Lash Artist of the Year. It was the first it was the second competitions I'd entered, because the first was Lash Social. I've still never placed at Lash Social, although head judge award will do.
Oh.
Yeah, the first one the competition I ever entered, was Lash Social, and I came 7th, and I was so proud. But yeah, the next ones were Lash Artist of the Year, and I entered Classic, Russian Volume, and Mega, and I took first place in all 3. And the feeling, I just can't even explain. It's just one of the best memories I will ever have. I was so proud. I was so happy. Like Lash Artist of the Year at the time, I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And from there on, that's when I said, right, I want 20 awards this year, and that was last year, and I got 17. So
3 more to go.
I know. Well, I've just won another one. I won another one this week.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah, for my fantasy work. That was my goal this year.
When you get to 20, will you retire from competitions? Because I know quite a few artists that have actually retired from competing now.
I'm not going to do any more. I say that. I said this at the beginning of the year. I have entered World Lash University, and I've entered a few more this year, but I'm not, from now on, I'm not going to enter anything else. Like, I'm really enjoying judging.
You're doing more judging, aren't you? Aren't you going to Macedonia at the end of the year if it goes ahead?
Yes. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Yes, I've got a few judge roles, and I really, really enjoy it. And I quite like the fact that I can support the girls in my team. And do you know what? The standards of competitions now are so high. I'm actually glad I'm not competing against those girls.
Right.
Going back.
I'm not sure what timings we came on here, but it will tell you when you're live at the top when so as we're running out of time. So before we do run out of time, because it's 10:05 now, or just coming up to, so I'm not sure. We only came on a few minutes after. I want to talk to you lastly about really quickly lashing yourself, and then we'll quickly talk about LBL. So talk to us about lashing yourself and your kits that you've put together.
So DIY PreJades. Last week I'm not even joking. I thought I was a legend. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I've thought of this idea. And then a couple of girls were like, oh yeah, Frankie was doing this last week. And I was like, oh shit, I hope she doesn't think I'm copying her. So I messaged her and I was like, I'm really sorry, I didn't see your post. I've done the same with PreJade. And do you know what? She was so lovely. Sent me a message and she was just like, they look amazing. Like, well done. She let me know how hers lasted, like what she did. So it was really nice, and I obviously applied them myself. I gave myself 5 days so I could monitor how they lasted, how they felt, how they were being cleansed, and then I removed them to check there was no damage before I sold them. So I kind of built up a bit of suspense over 5 days. But yeah, they're now available to buy, and it's gone a little bit crazy. I just love them. So I'm a bit naked. I'm naked at the moment just because I need to find some time to do it.
So just to clarify, you're now selling Lash Yourself kits, which includes a packet of PreJades, a duo adhesive. Is there anything else, or is that what it comes with?
It's actually, at the moment, I'm selling the eye adhesive. My supplier for duo has sent me this as an alternative because they're out of stock, which is good. I tested it as well. Yeah, so you get a large tray of 12D, a small tray of mixed dimensions. So you've got the smaller lengths in 3D, 4D and 5D, and then it comes with the glue, and it's £30. And at the moment I've got free shipping.
Okay. Before we talk about LBL, I know we're running out of time, but I think this is more relevant to what we've been talking about today, because we've been talking about the competitions. On Monday, you're doing a competition Zoom, aren't you? Which is your new competition workshop that you've just released. So if anyone wants to join Jade on Monday for a competition Zoom workshop, get in touch. Quickly tell us a little bit about what it is and how much it is and how they can get onto it.
So I think I'm going to do it on Facebook, actually. I'm going to create a private group. I'm going to do it on Facebook so I can post it live, because I've got a few people that want to watch it later on. I'm doing it at 11 a.m. It's 2 hours, and I'm basically just going to talk through everything I would do to plan and prepare for a competition set. So styling, getting the lashes ready, doing a consultation to check your model's lashes, what sort of model I go for, because that all gets taken into consideration. But yeah, 2 hours, it's only £30. Yeah, Monday 11 o'clock. Let me know. Yeah,
perfect. And then lastly, before we finish, Jade, just talk to us about your new venture, LBL.
LBL. So Amy Dommett and I have been talking about this for such a long time, and it's always been a bit of a slow burner due to us being so busy and not having the time to put it together. And as soon as we kind of went into lockdown, we were both just like, this is it, we've got to do it, it's now or never. And we were going to do it initially with 75 members. We wanted it to be really intimate. We wanted to be able to give everyone enough time, but there was so much interest. We sold 100 spaces in less than 24 hours, which is crazy. So it's a membership plan for 12 months. So we're going to help people grow their business over 12 months. We've got 12 subjects that we're going to cover each month. There's manuals being released, there's online videos. So we'll be covering social media, lashes, brows, business, accounts, and we'll be going a bit more in depth into online courses, launching a product, becoming a trainer. So we really just want to help people grow their businesses and give people the chance that we've had, really, by being a part of this amazing lash world that actually not a huge amount of people know about yet. So yeah, just to give people the support that we've had and to get them to where they want to get to, maybe a little bit quicker than they would if they were doing it on their own.
Amazing. Honestly, Jade, what you're doing at the minute, I think your brand is coming on tenfold. You as a lash artist as well, and your trainings are speaking for themselves. Have you had the warning yet for the 2 minutes warning?
No, it was definitely like after 10 past we started, so yeah, we might be all right.
So just lastly, Jade, what are your plans by Jade Jones if you've got moving forward?
Do you know what? I really,
international brand ambassadors.
I would love it if my lashes were being used internationally. That is the goal. I actually had a lovely lady, I need to message her back, from Mexico, ask me this week if she could be a distributor.
Yeah.
So that's the first step, just contacted me randomly. So that's my plan. I would really love it if they went international. That's what I would love. Everything else is just running really smoothly. I've got an amazing team of girls, and literally they get me through every day. Most of them are here supporting me. Love you, girls.
They're all having some sort of an argument about Team JJ and
LBL. We've done
teams. Writing talk resumes.
So LBL, we've split the teams in half. So there's Team Jade and Team Amy, and every month each person in the team can complete a challenge to win a point, and at the end of the year at our Lash Festival, the winning team will be crowned. Oh, we haven't decided yet, and the losers are basically going to be stood there in a big crowd hanging their heads in shame. So
yeah,
Team JJ for the win.
Nuts saying Team JJ.
Team JJ for the win. Most of my girls are on Team Amy because I wanted them to obviously have Amy's support. So if I lose, it's going to be horrendous. All of my girls giving me crap, and I am so competitive.
Oh, right, Jade, I've taken up enough of your time. I'm so glad we managed to get you on because we had a few technical difficulties at the beginning. For anyone that's watching this, obviously we're on Jade's Instagram anyway, but if you've got any questions about Jade Jones, PreJades, her competition workshop on Monday, LBL, or anything else Premade Pro, then contact Jade or one of her team, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you. And if you've got any questions regarding our upcoming Lash Social event, the online competition, then get in touch with myself on the Lash Social UK Instagram.
When's the deadline for Lash Social? 3rd of May?
Yeah, the deadline for the Easter competition is the 3rd of May, and the winners are announced on the 10th. I've got all the goodie bags packed, so the postage and shipment of all the prizes will be done quite quickly. And yeah, so we've got quite a quick turnaround planned. Tomorrow night, I'm back on Lash Chat Live at 9 o'clock talking to Tara Fisher.
20 seconds.
Lashes. Right, if you've missed the live tonight, or if you're just catching up, it'll be available for 24 hours by Jade Jones or on our YouTube. So have a
Thank you so much for having me.
See you all later. Bye.
Bye.